welcome to Fresh Ideas with Age Well. My name is Carrie Botras. I am the Wellness and Nutrition Coordinator for Chittenden County for Age Well. I also have...
I am Preheat. I'm a dietitian with Age Well.
We are in the beautiful City Market kitchen in the South End. They have graciously given us their kitchen, beautiful products to use from their store. We are so grateful. So nice to be here. Amazing products. It's lovely. We are making a spring asparagus salad with radish and fresh mint, which is one of the things I love to do in...
So tasty.
So tasty. This time of year, asparagus coming up, everybody has mint or knows somebody that has mint. It grows everywhere. It's in abundance. So if you don't have mint, if you ask someone, you put it on front porch form, someone will give you a lot of mint because it is everywhere. It grows all over the place. And I think it's something that's not utilized.
True.
Right? I think people think, I have all this mint, what do I do with it? So this is a great way to utilize your mint.
There you go.
So I have my asparagus here, which I've already roasted in the oven, 425 for, anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes, maybe a little longer if you like it a little softer. I like it a little crunchier, so you can just change that up. Absolutely, absolutely. I just do olive oil and salt and pepper on it, and that's it. So I'm just gonna chop that up.
Easy,
so delicious. Asparagus is one of my favorite vegetables. I just feel like it has such good flavor. It's so versatile. You can use it in so many things. I remember when my boys were younger, how I introduced them to asparagus was I took 3 stalks, I wrapped it in turkey bacon, drizzled it with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and put it on the grill, and they just thought like those were the most cool things. They were like spears. And
anything wrapped in bacon.
Right, and it was turkey bacon, so I had like the healthier version of it, but they were like, this is awesome. And I was like, yes, it is. It is so good for you. All right, so I'm just gonna chop that and put that off to the side. I already have my beautiful radishes already chopped. Look at the color. I know, look at the color on that. And again, I think people don't know what to do with radishes. And I think sometimes they feel like the flavor is too bitter, it's too overwhelming.
Strong, yeah.
It's too strong, exactly. But if you mix this in with other stuff, you get so much nutritional value, which we learned that there's calcium in these guys. Who would have thought, right?
Lots of potassium too.
Right.
Very good for reducing your blood pressure. So
excellent.
And if you add it in the recipe, like you mentioned, you're blending that flavor in with other flavors.
Absolutely.
And it really adds a nice touch, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. So don't
shy away from radishes.
Shy away from your radishes. Embrace your radishes. So we have these here. I have all of my ingredients for my vinaigrette, which I have lemon juice, I have minced garlic, and I have a ton of chopped mint in here. A ton. Again, you just want to really infuse it with that flavor. And I'm just going to drizzle in my olive oil, which Brigitte going to grab for me because I moved it to another table.
There you are.
And so you always want to, when you're doing your vinaigrette, you always want to slowly whisk in your olive oil because that's where you're going to get that emulsification to make your vinaigrette, and you won't have that separation. So that's really important to do. And again, vinaigrettes are so easy. If you have a lemon or a lime, olive oil, garlic, and some type of herb, whether dried or fresh, there you go. That's your dressing. You don't even need to buy salad dressing. Okay, so I'm whisking. I have my olive oil in there that's already incorporated. I have my lemon juice. I have my garlic. I have my tons and tons of mint. As you can see how nice and beautifully green this is. So I'm just going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Again, you just want to do this to taste. And this is the great part about making your own salad dressing is that you have control over the amount of sugar, the amount of salt, which I know a lot of dressings have so much salt and sugar.
They do, for sure.
So
and
unnecessary.
When you're adding it as you're cooking too, it's so much better than adding it at the table because you're going to end up adding so much less if you're using it in cooking than adding it, because at the table we tend to just kind of put a little too much. So.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's the other important piece of cooking and tasting as you go. And even before you eat, like taste your food. Don't just put the salt and the pepper on because you assume it needs it. It may not need it.
Right.
Okay, so now I'm going to do a little taste of this. Again, because I like to taste everything. I may add a little bit more lemon, which I'm going to do, which I have right here. So I'm just going to squeeze this lemon in. You can put it right over your hand so you can catch any of the little seeds in there. Just give it a nice squeeze. There we go. And do a little whisk. There. All right. I'm gonna do one more taste to make sure I get that flavor that I like.
And again, I love that you're adjusting as you're making.
Yes,
right?
key.
It doesn't have to be like you follow a recipe necessarily to the T if you find that it doesn't have quite enough of that lemon taste or whatever.
I always have a container of spoons. I mean, I even have this at my kitchen at home. So anybody who does cleanup after me is always like, why are there all these spoons? I'm like, because you gotta taste as you go.
Or what you can do as well, if you want to save on using spoons, is using two, where this one will be the tasting, the grabbing, it doesn't get dirty.
That's such a great
And you put it right here on this one. This one's going to be the dirty one. Oh, wow, that's so good.
Thank you. She just saved dishes in our house by this good thing. My sons are going to thank you. My husband's going to thank you. Love that.
So yeah, you can leave it here. You know this one is safe to reuse.
Love that. Thanks, Brigitte. I love getting these tips. Okay, so I've got all this in here. I'm going to take my chopped asparagus. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put my arugula, which again, what I love about arugula is that I think it's also one of those greens that a lot of people use because it has a little bit of a peppery kick to it.
Certainly has a very distinctive taste. So if you like very flavorful food, that's a great one.
And you can also cut it. Like if it's too overwhelming, put some spinach in there, put some romaine in there. Like you can mix this up.
Right.
This is such a great green.
Oh, it is so healthy.
It's so healthy. Oh my gosh. It's also a great one if you make homemade pizza at home and the pizza comes out of the oven. Do a nice sprinkle of the arugula on top. Gives you greens, gives you flavor, just brightens it up.
And it looks so pretty.
It does look so pretty. I can totally agree.
Once you have food that looks good, it's, very appetizing.
But you want to eat it.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna add my radishes in here. Look at this color. I love it. I also have some slivered almonds. These I bought again. They are unsalted, blanched, in the bulk section. Again, so you can control the amount of salt that you have because a lot of nuts, if you get them salted, high sodium.
Yes, yeah.
But they're great nutritional value and they add that crunch.
You buy them in the bulk section, you buy only what you need, and it's so much cheaper.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then I also have some pepitas, which are the pumpkin seeds. Again, these are roasted, unsalted. They do have a variety of different flavors at City Market as well, which is great. But again, if you've never used these, so much nutritional value, so much flavor and crunch, lovely to add to salads.
Yeah.
Also to granola. If you make your own granola, buy granola, throw these in there. So good.
That's great.
Just gonna give a little toss of that. And
what might be good as well, if you don't find the pepita, you can find some dried chickpeas that are available out there.
That's a great idea. I love that.
And you can maybe add a few of those in there, and that also adds some nutritional value.
Oh, I love that. Yes, dried chickpeas are delicious, crunchy. You can dry them at home.
Yeah.
Get the canned ones, put them in the oven. You can get the dried ones, cook those up. Oh, incredible. So delicious. So I am a big fan of using your hands when you cook, as long as you wash them. So I like to get in, wash often. I like to get in here and especially with arugula because it's so delicate.
True.
You just
don't want to bruise it.
You don't want to bruise it and you just don't want to mash it down. So I find with a lot of greens that aren't super hardy, just toss it with your hands. So you're just gonna give this a nice toss. Everything is nicely coated. If you feel like it's too much dressing, you can add a little more arugula, which is what I'm gonna do, or any of your greens that you have. Again, if you're growing tons of stuff in your garden, throw that in there. Throw those greens in there. If you have a CSA, a farm share, use the greens that you have. I mean, you could use beet greens, you could use chard. Chop that up, add that in. Again, the more different flavors that you get, colors you can get, variety, the more variety that you're gonna get for nutritional value for yourself.
Right. Lots of different nutrients. It's nice to have some variety.
Absolutely.
Because, each vegetable has its own nutrient content. So when you have a variety, you're getting a little bit of everything. So it's nice.
I love that. Yeah, and challenge yourself to try something new. If you pass something in the grocery store and you're like, I don't know what Swiss chard is, buy it and try it. Make this as your base salad and add that in there, and get yourself to try new things.
What a good idea.
Right? You may find something you're like, oh my gosh, why have I not had this my whole life? Okay, the last thing I'm gonna add is some crumbled goat cheese, which adds that nice
I
little...
love
oh my
goat
gosh,
cheese.
how much do you love goat? And we live in Vermont. We have like some of the best goat cheese in the world, seriously. So I'm using the Vermont Creamery goat cheese, crumbled, already comes crumbled, so easy. I'm just gonna do a nice little douse of that in here.
That adds creaminess
Right.
and just that
Calcium.
flavor where it's gonna really blend in well with all of these strong
I know,
flavors.
okay, so look at this. This looks like spring. This looks like Vermont spring. I'm gonna give a nice little bite. So we got all of our components. I gotta make sure I have everything in here, right? I gotta make sure I have the radish, and I have the pepita, and I have the goat cheese, and the slivered almonds, and all my fresh mint. If you have more mint leaves, throw them in here. You can eat the mint leaves with your arugula, with your other greens, do it. Oh my God. Again, you're getting the roasted from your asparagus. I'm getting the pungent flavor of my vinaigrette with my lemon, the creaminess of the goat cheese, the peppery of the arugula. It's like all these components all in one. Delicious, flavorful, easy to make. Again, throw in some shrimp, throw in chicken, throw in roasted tofu. You can add those things or have it just like this.
Have it as a side or add some protein and you've got a complete meal. You know,
Absolutely.
leftover chicken breast or whatever. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if you're looking for a new salad and you haven't added these components together, I encourage you to go out, get the stuff, make the salad, sit outside, enjoy the beautiful Vermont weather that we have, and enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to do a delicious broccoli cashew salad. So this is a no-cook salad, which I love because these ingredients most people have in their pantry. And if you're trying to think about what is it that I want to make, I don't want to cook anything, but I want something nutritious and good, this is a great meal that has all those different components in it, which I love.
Right.
And if you wanted something like chicken, tofu, tempeh, seitan, shrimp, anything like that, you can get those already done, pre-cooked. They have it here at City Market. A lot of those items are on their hot bar, which are just so easy. Come in, grab, go. You have it in your fridge. You can add it to this meal, which is great.
You could even add some beans maybe if you have some leftover
Absolutely.
beans.
Yes.
And you're adding some protein. So-
Love that, love that. So I already have all of my ingredients in here pre-chopped. And again, you can buy your veggies pre-chopped. You can cut down so much time on your meal prep, but still have an inexpensive, delicious meal that is easy to put together, maybe takes 10 minutes to put it together.
Right.
So-
So if you, actually, speaking of pre-chopped vegetables, if you are looking to save a little dollar though, putting in the effort to actually cutting it yourself might save you a little money. So,
Absolutely, that is a great tip.
For convenience though, pre-chopped is awesome.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And we talked about using frozen veggies. You could do the same here. I've got broccoli in here. I've got red onions in here. Again, you can get the frozen broccoli. You can leave it out to thaw. Again, you'll probably want to pat that down because it is going to be pretty wet.
Right.
But it is so cost effective, so easy to use. And again, this is about making delicious meals that are easy and that are budget friendly. So that's always where we want to go. So in here I have broccoli and I have red onions chopped. I've also taken the stems of the broccoli, which I think those get underutilized, and I've just put them on a box shredder and just shredded them because they have so much nutritional value. They get often discarded and people just think, oh, I've got to compost those, you can't eat them. You can eat them and they are so delicious.
Exactly.
So put it all in there.
Food waste.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I've got that done. I also have shredded carrots. Again, buying carrots in bulk is really inexpensive. These are rainbow carrots, which they had such a beautiful selection at City Market. They had purple, they had orange, they had yellow. It just adds so much color and flavor.
And what happens when you add colors? You're adding nutrients. So, and I love, look at all the colors here. This is awesome.
Beautiful. It's like a rainbow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a rainbow salad.
Exactly. And think of any time you had color like that, you're adding different phytochemicals that are chemicals or nutrients that help us fight chronic diseases. So this is excellent.
Yeah, so the more colorful, the more array of nutrients and vitamins that you get, and it just looks pretty. Like you want to eat it because it looks beautiful.
Exactly.
So I have that all chopped in here. I'm going to add my carrots into this. And again, if you have other veggies you want to add into this, do it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, if you've got a huge garden that's just bountiful, add all the stuff in there. Again, it's just going to make it more flavorful for you. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir just to get those all combined. And I've already made my dressing ahead of time, which I have here, which has your mayonnaise, your garlic, your apple cider vinegar, which is, again, this is such a great flavor enhancer. Lots of vitamins, lots of nutrients in this. I use this for so many different things, salad dressings. I put it on my roasted veggies.
Makes great gravies with it. I use for
that's right. That's a great tip. And then I've got salt, pepper. I'm going to drizzle in my olive oil while I'm whisking, so then you don't have that separation that can occur when you're making dressing. And because I have mayonnaise in this, I'm only going to add a little bit of oil because you already have that oil in the mayo.
Right.
And so again, you want to make sure that you're not having too much oil to your salad dressing, because it then just makes the salad really oily, and that's not so delicious. So I'm just going to whisk in, maybe about a tablespoon, just to give it a nice.
And the good thing about olive oil too is it is an unsaturated fat, which is better for heart health. So
absolutely. This also has maple syrup in it to give it that sweetness. And again, you don't want to go too sweet because you really don't need that, but you want enough to give it just like nice little kick of maple. And again, we're living in the state where we have an abundance of maple syrup.
Right.
It's like one of my favorites.
And as far as adding sugars, you might think, oh, you're adding sugars to it. However, it is only, a couple teaspoons?
Yes.
That's going to be into this whole salad. So really, when you have a portion, you have a very small amount of added sugars. So it's just good to add a little sweetness to, make it tasty.
I know, and who doesn't love maple? So I have that all in here. I did a little taste. So when I taste this, I'm getting the creaminess of the mayonnaise, but I'm getting the kick from the apple cider vinegar. I'm getting a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm getting that nice tang from your garlic. It's not overpowering, but it's enough to just bring out all those flavors. And the beautiful part of this when you're using your raw broccoli is this is going to give a little marinade, and it's going to soften that broccoli up, which again, the longer it sits, the more flavor gets infused in your veggies. It's just delicious. So good.
Great. So is it okay to make this ahead and kind of keep it in the refrigerator for a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you want to keep this probably about 3 to 4 days in your fridge. But again, you can add chicken, you can add shrimp, you can add tofu. I mean, you could cook up some rice, throw this in there, have a meal. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it.
You can repurpose it, right?
You can repurpose it.
And kind of use up what you got in the fridge, and that way you're not throwing anything away.
Yes.
Because what happens when you throw food away, you're throwing money away. So
I know, absolutely. And again, we all are so budget conscious these days, just with so many things, and you want to be able to utilize what you have in your fridge. And a lot of times we think, I don't have anything to eat. We kind of open our fridge and we stare at it. If we just take a moment to be like, okay, what do we have for veggies? What can I make a little sauce with? Do I have olive oil? Do I have apple cider vinegar, garlic, lemon juice, lime juice? There's a meal, and you can just start putting that together. So I'm going to give this a nice stir. The other piece that I love about this salad that I think gives it such good flavor and crunch is cashews, which I love. And I decided to use roasted unsalted cashews. And again, going with the unsalted, you get to have more say as to how much salt.
Exactly.
And again, the flavor is delicious. It's roasted. So these are in the bulk section at City Market. Again, they have such an array of incredible products for bulk that you can buy what you need, and that's it.
Just what you need, and you don't have to buy a giant package, and you're saving some money.
Yes. So I just ground these up in my hands. You don't even have to get fancy and use a knife to chop these. I like the flavor of them, so if there's some whole ones in there, I just think that's a bonus. So again, you can do a little cashews, you can change this out to do almonds, you could do peanuts, you could do walnuts, you could do any nut you wanted. Pistachios would be amazing. I like cashews because again, I don't think a lot of people eat cashews, and I just think I like to utilize stuff that people use a lot of. So I'm gonna ground this up in here. I also have dried cranberries. And again,
delicious.
Yes, the beauty of buying in bulk is you can buy unsweetened dried cranberries at City Market. So then again, you're not having to do the added sugar piece, which again is such a huge piece.
Yes, it is, for sure.
You could also do dried cranberries. You could do apricots in this. I mean, and again, the dried fruit piece, I think, is another important piece of adding fruit in with your veggies.
Yeah.
That just gives it a little sweet, a little bit of chewiness.
You got raisins laying around, you can use those as well.
Absolutely, golden raisins, you could use currants. So I'm just gonna give this a good stir. And again, you wanna let this sit for just a minute so that the flavors of your dressing can get infused in your broccoli and in everything else. And if you wanna add more dried cranberries, you can. You wanna add more cashews, you can. Any other things that you can think of, any other nuts or dried fruit that you have, I encourage you to add that in there because it's just gonna add flavor and it's just gonna add more nutrients.
And you have broccoli, you have dry fruits, you have nuts. That is a really high fiber meal right here. So very nutritious.
Yes.
You're adding, and again, the broccoli is already high in fiber, and with the added dried fruits,
Yes.
you're just, it's a very nutritious meal for sure.
Absolutely. And again, if you have, this is the other thing I wanted to bring up, if you have an issue with using raw broccoli, that's a digestive issue, you can cook these ever so slightly. You can blanch them, you can roast them just enough so maybe it helps with the digestive piece, because I know a lot of people that can be an issue.
True.
And so you can alter that and still get those nutrients from
Did
the
you
broccoli.
know also if you slightly cook your broccoli, it actually enhances the availability of nutrients in it.
I didn't know that.
So it's actually a little bit more nutritious if you do that. So there you go.
We love to boost up the nutrition even if we don't really know it. Our bodies do, and that's the most important thing. Okay, I think this salad is good. I might just throw in a few more of the dried cranberries because I like them. And I'm gonna give this a taste. And I will be as descriptive as I can so that you can feel like you're tasting this.
You know what I like too is that you're adding what you like, and you don't have to follow a strict recipe, right? If you like to add a little more fruit, a little more cashews, whatever.
Oh my gosh, this is good. It's so good.
You're welcome to taste this.
I will
after.
Okay, so when you're tasting this, the first thing you're gonna get is like that nice crunch from your broccoli, from your cashews, but then at the same time you get the punch of sweet from the dried cranberry, and then you got a little bit of garlic, you get a little bit of apple cider vinegar. It's just like, it's just this mixture of beautiful, creamy, bright, and crunchy. It's delicious, delicious. And again, to me, this could be like your substitute for slaw, like for coleslaw. If you're like, okay, I love coleslaw, but I'm just kind of tired of having the same old thing, this could be that salad for you.
We're heading into summertime. It's picnic season.
This is what you're bringing.
Exactly.
When people ask for a barbecue, you're gonna bring this.
So it makes a great meal, but it can also be a nice side if you have like a sandwich or something like that.
Absolutely.
And what a way to sneak in some vegetables.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Absolutely. So enjoy, add this to your repertoire of what you're gonna make, and we will see you next time. Thank you.